Okay. All right. Good morning, all. So today is 10th March 2023, and then we are in cluster API provider meeting for IBMCloud. Okay. And as usual, we'll discuss about features or fixes we made in last couple of weeks, and then we will discuss about releases, and then of course backlog, right? Okay, going back to, I hope you guys can see my screen and then hear me. Okay.
Yes, Manju.
Yes,
Cool.
Manju, we can.
All right. Let me adjust my browser a bit. Just close this one. Okay. Last time when we released, as in when we met, it was like 27 Jan. Quite a bit. Like we have heard a lot of stuff during that time. 27th, right? Yep. Yeah, 27th, we made some changes to E2E related changes. I think with this one, we and this is mainly for fixing some of this stuff on VPC, and then also sort of like the deprecated API we were using for pod disruption budget, which has updated that. And after that, we made changes in terms of we pushed changes for paging mechanism. So that's mainly implementing paging mechanism for some of our VPC stuff. Right? Previously, it was like list VPC. We were not using paging. So with this, we are using paging and all that. Also, we have IP, putting IP, and then wherever possible at subnets, we just added mechanism for using like paging instead of like just fetching whatever without paging that. So without paging is more of like it will just not fetch everything. So we just made sure that we introduce paging mechanism to fetch all the resources or records available in the cloud than just fetching first page, right? That we have merged, and there was simple fix I fixed in the doc. So for the API key, this is good. And then we made update to our docs for compatibility matrix as well. This is for adding the new release version and then whatnot. So this is what we made changes. Just wondering, do we need changes for the latest version or the main? Should be fine. I think once we release maybe branch, we can just update this. Should be okay. Okay. And after that, seems like there's an update for using repository. Yeah, so there's like we are using test images now. We forced to use staging test infra for some of the images. It's minor change, and this is another minor change for adopting like using plus API 133 is fine. E2E related changes. So maybe you want to maybe take us through, Rajat?
Okay, Manju. Yeah. So in this one, right? So while we were debugging the Power VS E2E, that we came across some of the issues, right? So first thing in the we switched the default region to JP Osaka because that is something we already have in Moscow's where we run the jobs, right? So we changed that value. Also, the control plane node and the worker node timeouts we changed to 60 minutes, because sometimes it takes longer than 30 minutes to come to the active states, right? And also the mainly what we did was edit the machine health checks for the worker node as well as the control plane node, right? So this will ensure that whenever there is an unhealthy worker node or a control plane node, it will basically try to remediate that. So it will give us some breather so that the unhealthy machine can be removed and try to create a new one, so that the job won't fail right in the very first go. So it will try some remediation there. So we added those both those machine health checks. And what we had noticed that in order for machine health check to work, right? So there were labels which were getting added to all the nodes, but that label matching was not happening in the E2E. So remediation was not actually taking place, right? So we added that patch for labeling, right? So now that E2E remediation empty label, right? That one gets added to the machine deployment. So all the worker nodes will have that label added. So whenever there is an unhealthy machine, that machine will check will based on those labels match to that and try to remediate. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then hopefully, I think we're also started seeing some improvement there in the
E-jobs, yeah.
in the runs as well because of the other change of MTU as well. So we'll talk about MTU changes later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I still see some amount of failures, but it's better than earlier. So earlier, like it used to be like continuous failure, but now at least we are seeing some good news. But still, we need to debug further and understand why these other failures still happening.
Yes, Manju, yeah. So on Power BI's front, we are definitely seeing improvement, right? Like before it was like continuous four failures or something, but now it is like every alternate run passes or fails, something like that. But yeah, this is one issue that I'm seeing right now. While applying the CNI plugin, right? IO timeout. So yeah, we'll need to check on this one. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I think we made some function updates and all that. This is for okay. This is for the CMD or to push. So this is a minor change in terms of making the function
Yeah.
update with the standard whatever we want to follow. Okay. And this is again another change. We made it into the clients, like the CMD part for pushing some of these clients and then utilities and then whatnot. So printer and then stuff we made available. I think from here, I think we made a lot of changes for CLI, I believe. um, so the Jinko timeout. So this is another fix we made because we got to know that the tests were like killing after the timeout. So we just pumped the Jinko timeout. So this is a new parameter we introduced, and then this is 2 hours now. I think we already seeing better runs anyway. It's pretty much green, so it's not even taking more than 1 hour now. It's really fine, but yeah, I mean, I can still keep this time out anyway, so it's not make a lot of difference. But yeah, earlier it is to kind of take more time because of maybe I'm not sure, maybe because of our the empty issue or whatever. So, but now I think it's well within the range, and so I think that's good news. And we have continuous runs. Nice. And again, some CLI changes for common flags and then whatnot. So we will not go through this CLI in detail. We will have another meeting or deep dive for this CLI stuff. This is another code for CLI again. The network and this network and all that. And this is for fixing the error check for the boilerplate. So I think earlier we were using Python, and Python 3 wasn't there in the image where the CI is running, and then we switched to Python 3 and then it is working fine. So, but one big thing, Prajot, so even then it was not there. It was just going like it's going ahead and then skipping that. Is that because we are not really checking the command exit status for each individual script, or um,
So Manju, you meant initially it was not working, right, before?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Manju, I think that was not working because this boilerplate code, right, of Python. So that Python command itself was not there on that host. So this file was not getting, the checks were not getting run itself, the script. It runs that Python scripts, right, internally.
Okay.
I
But
think it's
my question was like, why will it even? It should basically kind of throw error saying that Python not found and exit the script, right?
yes, correct. It does that, but it was not failing. It was not failing the job because I think it is not it is marked as not required, right? That or not something like that.
Okay. Not sure. Maybe we might need to.
In the logs, but it was showing that no Python found.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it just shows no Python found and then just skipped and then just run the next.
Yeah, maybe yeah, because it was not taking the exit status directly from there. It was just continuing going ahead.
Yeah, that's something always scary. But yeah, let's see if there is a scope for improvement, or is it like, do we really need to do like strict check if Python is not found or anything of that sort? Should just exit then proceeding further, right?
Yes, okay, got it. Yeah.
Do you want to maybe let's create a task or something? Let's at least analyze and then see what's really happening there.
Okay, Manju. Yeah.
Why? Wait, failure is not considered in CI. Yeah, so whoever is comfortable, just feel free to assign yourself and debug.
Sure, Manju. Yeah, will do.
Alright. Again, another CLI change. And another CLI change here. Yeah, this is also CLI, this is also CLI. And of course, this is also CLI. And CLI, again CLI, and CLI. Update to Kathy 2134. Okay, so this one is interesting. So do you want to talk, Prajat?
Sure, Manju. Yeah. So on the VPC CI/2E jobs, right? So we were seeing failures at a particular stage where the control plane machine was actually getting created. But then the jobs were saying failing, saying that it is waiting for the control plane node to exist, right? And we were unsure why it is not able to see that like control plane node is actually getting created, right? And move ahead from there. So on further debugging, the first thing that we realized that the control resources that we are applying, right? So the sub resources as a part of that resource were not getting applied. And the reason for that was so it was failing because it wasn't able to reach the load balancer URL, right? So load balancer API URL where it was hosted. So it wasn't able to reach that. So we SSH and logged into the machine of the clusters and tried to ping to those URLs, and we noticed that the requests were not going through. On further debugging via curl and everything, we came across that the signal was going out from the machine, but the inbound signals which are coming in for the SSH protocol, right, or the handshake protocol was not happening. And what we came across that the MTU value which was there on the actual host of the machine was set to like 1500 and 1480 for the Ethernet adapter, right? But for the container which was getting created as part of the CI job, right, inside the Kubernetes was having, it was picking up the value of the MTU from the Docker host itself, and Docker host was by default setting that value to 1500. So since it was a larger value compared to what the actual Ethernet adapter was able to pass the messages through, right? So that was causing that stuck, that request to get stuck, the inbound request to get stuck, right? So we came across a fix. So the way was that there is no direct way. So we discussed in the community, there was no direct way to fix the MTU value in the kind cluster itself, right? So either we do that firsthand, like we have a kind network in place which with the required MTU value, or we had to actually do a cleanup of all the kind resources, then set the MTU and then create the kind cluster. So the second way was not a reasonable one because we had to clean up everything. So the way we fixed it was we have a script written which will create a kind network with the MTU value of 1480, as you can see on the screen, right? And then as a part of our CI E2E script, we ensure that we trigger this kind network script before that. So the kind network will actually get created before the actual kind cluster get created. And when the kind cluster creation gets triggered, it will see that there is already a kind network which is already existing, and it will just reuse that kind network instead of recreating a new one. And all the containers which will create it henceforth will have the MTU value of 1480. And yeah, and that will take care of that issue.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this sounds good. I was just wondering whether we have, so part of our testing, right? So I see this still or VS flow is failing in certain cases. But this timeout is nothing to do with MTU again, right? Because we already setting the MTU and all that. Not sure. Because the second, second timeout, what we are seeing here. So, this MTU, what we see here, right? So this setting MTU is like throughout the run, or it is just during first year classification or something like that.
Yes, Manju. So I think yeah, it is throughout the run because the both the VPC like the both the test runs inside a VPC job, right, was filling with the same issue. And yeah, and since VPC is stable, that means it is throughout the thing. So
Okay.
this is a different timeout that we are seeing in PowerVS. Yeah, I'll explain on that, like why it is happening here now.
Okay. All right. So we can go through some of those stuff. All right. Okay, so this is about MTU and exclude Go module. So this one, this was required because yes, excluded certain modules from Go depend about update because it was keep pushing these changes for cluster API and the creators and all that, which was a little annoying because we don't really update them via the depend about anyways, because we want to update them like whenever there is a proper build from cluster API, and then based on that we will be updating other KTS packages as well. So that's the reason we just kind of excluded these service packages where I depend about. Okay. And yeah, I mean, this adds another manual, way of checking whether there is an update in cluster API and all that. But that's something we might end up doing it manually because it was producing a lot of noise for sure. And that's something we have to deal with this. On the similar line, right? So, is there any plan for Cluster API latest release, by the way? Any new release for Cluster API? Because our right now our release is tag to 1.3, but eventually we should maybe start using 1.4 for our main branch. So, is there a talk happening?
There are pre-release versions which are already out. If I'm
Oh,
I think, yeah.
oh, just 2 days back, I believe.
Yes, and there was beta one few last week.
Okay, beta 1, beta 2 is also released 2 days back. Do you think it's the right time to kind of go and adopt this beta and see how it goes for the main branch?
Yeah, Manju. So that was one of the reasons I moved to 1.3.5, right? Because that we can say that that version is a stable and do a cutout and then move to maybe start with the pre-release in the main branch.
Oh, well, not really. 4.0.4 was like to do with like, we already have 0.4 is with 1.3. I was just wondering like 0.5, maybe like whatever we have right now, it is the main or 0.5. We'll adopt 1.4 and then start using 1.4 in our main or 0.5 is what I'm thinking, not really cut another branch here.
Oh, okay, Manju. Yeah, that should also work. Then we can just move to that and then wait for the first stable version to come out of until we do that.
Yeah, so but what do you think? Like maybe we can just start adopting the beta versions right away to the main, or you still need to, or you want to wait till we have real seed version or RC build?
I think Manju, at least I can give it a try. So because I don't see, like, at least right now I don't foresee any issues coming, because then also we'll need to upgrade the Go also, right, to 1.20, because that is something that they will be also moving on to, I think.
Yep. Of course, that's the plan. Okay, so let's do one thing. So I'll create a task and then let's find down all the versions we need to update.
Okay.
Right. Then we will start exploring how to do it and all that. Adopt this, 1.4. Just marking it as 1.5, 0.5. All right. And what do we update? Maybe can have some sort of checklist. We have done something before it. KFS, it's sorry, S3 API, KTS, Golang, update CI, image, Bipra. What else we need? What I think so far. Anything else you think of to update?
No, I think this looks good for now. Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay. equivalent was API. Discuss this one. PPC image for. This equivalent update was API update. This is another update where. How is your experience while building these images? Is it smooth or it's complicated or?
Yeah, Manju. So yeah, so VPC I had done before, so it was smooth. And Power VS I was trying it for the first time. So yeah, not so smooth, but now I've got a hang of it. So I think yeah, for the building will be easier. Yeah.
So do you think maybe like there is a scope for enhancing the doc or something so that someone wants to build, so it will be easy?
Yes, Manju. Yeah. I think we can just put clear-cut instructions, right? Uh, at least in the doc for both the VPC and Power VS. Maybe I'll work on that since I have recently done it. So can
Yeah. So before we forget.
yes, yes.
Okay, let me add that. Doc. Update image building.
And Manju, on the also I explored on how we can maybe try to uh, do this automation for this, right? So I checked on the CAPI and CAPI AWS and all, but all the discussion which is going there, which I feel is like too complicated, like to do the stuff what we do than the manual way, right? So maybe I'll explore on whether having a simple script or something and a pro job in place. So even if it is not running periodically, we can just do a trigger on the latest Kubernetes release, right? Even that should build the image and maybe just push that to the bucket. That should also uh, maybe reduce some of the manual effort that is required.
Yeah. So maybe exploration, I'll put it as exploration task for that. Because yeah, I know this is going to be crazy, but nothing urgent, but yeah, more of a like exploratory work you can do. It's fine. And also, we already have 1.26 release out, right? But we haven't built any images for 1.26.
No, we haven't built, yeah.
Yeah, let's maybe have something for that.
I think Manju, we already have a issue, right? For
What do
building
we?
yeah, for building latest images for Power VS and VPC. I think that one 1093 on top. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. 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 Oh, cool. Yeah,
Maybe we can
let's
yeah.
yeah. Let's see. You're already doing it. I think maybe I'll assign it to you. Anyway,
Okay.
cool. Going back to commits, and there's another CLI and some fix for using registry and KTS. So I think there's there's a big effort going on in terms of community for doing this work. So basically, like using registry KTS, IO, then KTS CCR. Not sure why that issue is not mentioned here, but there is a one umbrella issue out there in the Kubernetes community which talks about why they are doing and all that. I don't see here, but yeah, there's definitely an issue. Maybe we can. So maybe I should be able to find that. In the CSI issue, I think recently got merged or still it is open. Yeah. This is the issue. Was missing here was just update. For more information, if you want to take a look why they are doing this, so this is the place. Yeah, they're kind of using this registry a lot of places. Okay. Yeah, basically, I think it's sort of like another wrapper created. So where like this is the community based one, I think. So this was controlled by Google, and this is now community controlled registry endpoint. More for housekeeping in Kubernetes community. Yes. All right, you can go ahead and then take a look if more information needed. All right, and again, like as we were discussing, there is an image built for the latest version of 1.25. All right. Anything else we want to talk about the fixes we made in last couple of weeks? All right. Okay, so if I go to here, pull request, there's one pending item. But this is what I wanted to avoid, but still it is kind of picking up this Jinko for the bed. Not sure how to deal with this.
Yeah,
Can
Manju,
someone
not sure.
can someone maybe try updating these two modules manually and then maybe skip these two and then merge it?
Okay, Manju, yeah, you can try it.
Create an work item for that. And now update for OSH modules. If this is going this way, I think we may end up like disabling depend about itself because it's not basically giving us what we want. But let's see. Let's wait and see for some more time. If yeah, we might end up doing it ourselves if it's not helping too much. All right, so these are the issues, and then we'll see if these are backlogs. So maybe we'll just check if anything needs to be put milestone. Yeah, this one, these two, we might need to consider doing it in this release itself. And boilerplate can maybe still wait for the next release. Nothing urgent. All right. Go back and then look at the milestone. Yeah, so here are these items we need to address by this release. CLI2, what else is pending?
Yeah, Manjit.
Karthik, maybe I'll assign it to you.
Okay, 3 comments are pending. I have added that in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. Do you mind maybe updating here and then maybe checklist
Sure,
like
sure.
check mark
Yeah,
whichever
yeah.
are done, like so that we kind of And it'll be great if you can maybe point the PR also here. Maybe
Okay.
update the like full list with all the PRs mentioned and then check mark whichever is done, right? So that at
Yeah.
least we know like know what is done and then what is not. And then pending one, maybe you can have owners mentioned in the command itself so that we know like who is working or nobody's taking or whatever, right? So that's something you have to maybe consider looking at.
Sure,
And
Manju.
then we also need some work in terms of shipping, right? So when shipping part is also required, so that also we might need to work on. So how do we kind of make it like part of release? We also want to consider doing it. That part is also remaining, right? So let's update
Yeah.
this first description comment with all the information.
Okay, Manju.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then upgrade Calico spec. Who want to own this, by the way?
I can take that up, Manju. I thought I'll look it into it, but then yeah, now I definitely can make it.
Build new node images. This is already assigned to project. It's on it. Cool. So pushing doc websites for all different branches. Want to take it up?
Yeah, Manju. So I was exploring on that one. Yeah. So I also looked at some of the past issues and everything that because only the CAPI project has that approach right now. None of the other sub projects has it. So and also created a thread on the CAPI Slack channel also, right? So and the response that I got was that even the person who has commented right previously, so even he's unaware what needs to be did exactly from the Netify perspective or Netify and what needs to be done and how we should do that. But yeah, I'll just explore on that a bit further. The only
Sure.
issue is yeah, how to get those things added right in the database. So that is something. One thing that what they had done right. So there is something. So they can't do it like a wildcard or something. So they had just given a list of those domains or URLs, right? DNS entries like say 0.5, 0.6, all those releases,
Yeah.
like 4-5 releases in advance, and then they had got that added to the database of the Netify there in the backend. So maybe something similar we'll have to do, like give them at least 4 or 5 DNS entries at least till the end of December, whichever releases we foresee, right? Something in that sense, and then we can just use one by one as we go ahead. And then next
Okay.
year,
But
yeah.
okay. But do we know like who will be doing that and then how do they know at least how to do that?
Yeah, so I know that Cecil, who is working there in the CAPI project, right, and most of the CAPI projects, she was the one who had actually written a support mail to Netify to get it done for the CAPI project. So maybe
Okay.
I had actually pinged her, but she didn't take a look at the thread, I think. So maybe I'll try to get in touch with her again today to get some info on at least how to get in contact with Netify support or Netify folks, so we can move ahead on that front at least. And I see only that as a bigger blocker here, because once I think that we get that through Netify, then everything else is in our control in the community. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And who want to take this up, like adopt cluster API 1.4?
I can take it up, Manju. I think previously I also did this for the last update. So
Okay. I'm assigning to you. Wait. Okay, cool. So I'm assigning this image building instructions to you, Rajat.
Sure, Manju. Yeah.
Maybe this one as well, right? Manual update. Who want to take this up? Simple one.
I'll raise a pair, Manju. Yeah, it's a simple one. It should be done.
Okay. Look at next and see if anything we can just adopt them in the. Yeah, so explore E2E framework to avoid using Calico spec. This one, okay, or maybe we can from top in here. So yeah, this one we can maybe take some time. It's not nothing urgent. And the Calico stuff, Mullah, do you have any bandwidth?
Yeah, Manju. I think this should be like it shouldn't take much time. I can take it up in this milestone.
Okay, then I'm changing the milestone as
Yeah.
3.5.
Sure.
Let's get account ID function. So says good first issues. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to take this up.
So just actually,
Or we can
Niharika showed
influence someone.
interest on working on this. Maybe I will check
Okay.
it.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. Or do you want to do it in the next release or this release?
Yeah, next should be fine.
Okay. All right. And webbook. Someone was trying to do this, right?
No, currently it's not, but the next one is Shilpa is currently working on that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, maybe
classic
once that is
class.
done, she will maybe complete that as well.
Mhm. Okay. So in that case, I'm just keeping it as next
Yeah.
itself. Okay.
Sure.
Then machine pool experimental feature. So is this something can explore or are we, this is nothing urgent anyways. So
Yeah.
and default VPC security group, I just dropped the comment. Okay. Can someone take a look what really the Dharnish really meant here? So I want to maybe see if we can get this into this release. Because this is a bug. That's maybe assess and then close if it is not a bug. Okay. Add skills from zero, support auto scalers. So this is another interesting work, but nothing stopping us. Use custom port for APS of obvious clusters. Nothing of that sort. Template. So anything you guys think of something needs to be addressed in 0.5 this release? I know there are a lot of things here, but
Maybe that
okay.
855, right, Manju, reduce the code duplication is cluster templates. Maybe that is something we can take care in this list, because it will be just doing the customization how we are already doing for the some of the test E2E templates, right? How we generate those, so we can adopt that.
Yeah,
Fix it as well.
but do we know like how to do that? Or it is more of an exploratory, we need to explore and then see how to do it, or it's more of a like just execution, we already know the method.
So Amulya has already worked on that customization in the generating the test E2E template, right? So I think it will be on the similar lines to create all the templates. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Manju, I think I have some idea on what has to be done because there's similar pattern in other repositories as well, other providers. I do have an idea on what has to be done.
Okay, so do you mind if I assign to you?
Yeah, no, you can assign it. Yeah,
Okay, I just mentioned as 0.5 and then send to you.
yeah, sure.
Anything else?
Yeah. What about the logging standards? Like, I'm not sure how much effort is needed, but if it's a new release, maybe we could like consider just having the updated logging.
Yeah, this itself is like a one big assignment, like the full assessment of the entire logging stuff
Yeah.
required. I think Karthik has
Yeah,
done some work in the past as well. So
yeah, Manju,
maybe
actually,
what we can do, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I have submitted a PR with whatever I can find to update whatever existing into the CAPI standards. So maybe I think if we can take another look, we can finish this.
Okay, so do you want to maybe take a look at
Yeah,
if anything pending or ultimately what I want to see here is like maybe that PR also can mention here.
sure.
And also I just want to complete, detail like what is required and then what we have done so far, or is there any
Hmm.
scope for the scope for improvement and then whatnot, right?
Yeah,
Some sort of detailed investigation and then actions needs to be taken, right?
yeah.
All right, yeah, let's see. Can do that. Else, else. Um, in this cluster class stuff, right? What else is pending, by the way?
Uh,
Oh,
I think
machine health
once
check
we,
works in.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
think once we have done the VPC cluster class, then we can close this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind maybe updating with more information? Like, I think you
What
have
is
done.
already completed? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what you have already updated with clusters, and maybe just have one summary update,
Sure.
and then yeah, we'll see. Okay. Instrumentation is taking some more time. I think we can just park this side. So this is going to be another big task we need to address. Anything else, guys? Release backlog, release thing though we have already, as you know that we have released 0.4. It's all these highlighted features, right? So user defined for port for VPC, and then VPC load balancer we have, and data scaler we have, and the regex of the class, of course. And we have removed, by the way, alpha APIs and then added beta. So right now we don't really support alpha APIs anymore in 0.4. And VPC boot volume also we are managing. That means you can specify or pick the boot volume while deploying for the VPC. And so these features like the SH keys, name, by name, and all that for the VPC. And we also kind of supporting external cloud provider. I mean, basically a CCM part. And some refactoring. And yeah, so I've got 0.5 alpha release to ensure that the build names and all will be with 0.5 going forward. So that's how the CI works. So it looks for the latest tag and then it tags the image with that particular, uh, you know, for the build. So that's the purpose of building this initial alpha 0 we thought just after the branch creation. So I end up building the or branch creating the another next branch with alpha 0. So that's the purpose of this branch. Nothing much going into this. Yeah, so maybe we can think about like once we have all the required stuff into milestone, we can think about when to cut the release. Right? Oh, who want to own this? By the way, I don't see this default VPC security group. So who want to own this bug, by the way? Someone wants to debug.
Manju, I can check on that one. Yeah.
All right. I think quite a few issues like all issues so far. Yeah, nice balance. Cool. Anything else, guys? Anything else you want to discuss? Okay, and yeah, I have a few more ideas in mind. We'll maybe work on some of those ideas and then create some of these features into the repositories. And also we need to work on enhancing this document further. So looking at now, I think we are I put a lot of instructions in the doc, but sometimes I feel like still doc is not very clear. It's kind of sometimes see looking at this, for example, right? So there are so many options here in this. There's a high chance that user will get confused what to use and then what not to, right? So it'll be good if you can have typical, maybe subsections into this and then suggest them what to use and then what not. I mean, now we have all the information, but not in a great readable format. Just wondering whether we need to have some systematic way of, or maybe enhance this doc in a way that more readability format. But do you think it's to be done, or do you think it doesn't make any sense? Or
Yeah, I think Manju, we need to improvise this.
Yeah.
just create a task for that. So will be like placeholder. And then we'll add more information later. Okay, kind of is not there. Documentation. Okay. Yeah, I think we will have to work as all of us need to work on this. It's not like one man task because a lot of things to be done as well. We'll see like whatever is required, so we'll have to work on this for sure. Okay, anything else, guys?
No, Manju, nothing from my end.
Others?
Nothing, Manju, from me.
Nothing from my
Okay.
side as well. Yeah.
Cool. That's it then. Thanks all. Have a nice day. Weekend.